If you're over 60 and finding yourself reaching for reading glasses more often, struggling to see clearly at night, or noticing that colors don't seem as bright as they used to, I have some genuinely hopeful news for you. What you're experiencing is not inevitable. It's not something you just have to accept as part of aging. And in many cases, it's reversible. In the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you the fascinating science behind age-related vision decline, and more importantly, a comprehensive natural approach to restore and protect your eyesight. We're going to talk about everything from poor vision and difficulty reading to more serious conditions like cataracts, glaucoma, and macular degeneration. Let me start by explaining what's really happening when your vision declines with age. Most people think it's just wear and tear, that the eyes simply get old. But the real story is much more specific and much more hopeful. The key to understanding age-related vision loss lies in understanding a tiny structure in the back of your eye called a cone. You might remember learning about rods and cones. These are specialized receptor cells in your retina that detect light and convert it into signals your brain can interpret. Rods are primarily responsible for peripheral vision and seeing in low light. Cones are responsible for color vision, seeing in daylight, and detecting fine detail. In the very center of your retina, there's a small area called the macula, and within that, an even smaller area called the fovea. This tiny spot, roughly the size of a grain of sand, is where your sharpest vision occurs. And this area is absolutely packed with cones. Now, here's the critical piece. These cones have the highest concentration of mitochondria of any cells in your entire retina. Mitochondria are the energy factories of your cells. They produce ATP, the energy your body uses for every function. And seeing clearly requires an enormous amount of energy. When you're young, these cones are packed with healthy mitochondria. You can see fine details easily. Colors are bright. You can read in relatively dim light. But as we age, we begin losing mitochondria in these critical cells. The mitochondria that remain become less efficient. And as this happens, your vision declines in predictable stages. The first stage is loss of contrast sensitivity. This is your brain's ability to distinguish between different levels of light intensity. You might first notice this when driving at night. The second stage is needing more light. By age 60, the average person needs 3 times as much light to see clearly compared to a 20-year-old. Your eyes literally require more light because the mitochondria aren't producing enough energy. The third stage is increased glare sensitivity, particularly at night. Everything starts looking foggy or hazy, especially when driving in rain or fog. The fourth stage is when the macula itself begins to deteriorate. This is called age-related macular degeneration. You can't see fine details. You need reading glasses or magnifying glasses. Now, this progression isn't just about aging. It's about mitochondrial loss in these critical cone cells. And here's why this matters. If the problem is mitochondrial, then we can address it at that level. We're not just managing symptoms. We're potentially reversing the underlying cause. Let me quickly mention other common eye problems. Cataracts occur when the lens of your eye becomes cloudy or opaque. The lens normally should be clear and flexible. But with age, especially with poor diet and high blood sugar, the lens becomes rigid and cloudy. Glaucoma is characterized by increased pressure inside the eye. This pressure can damage the optic nerve and lead to vision loss. And there's the issue from modern life. Spending hours staring at computer screens, your eyes fixed at a constant distance. When you finally look up, everything is blurred. I also need to mention diabetes and blood sugar problems. Your eyes are extremely sensitive to blood sugar issues. In fact, one of the leading causes of blindness is diabetes. High blood sugar damages the tiny blood vessels in your retina and contributes to cataract formation. Now, let's talk about what you can actually do. First, red light therapy. This is perhaps the most remarkable discovery in vision restoration in recent years. There is substantial research showing that exposing your retina to specific wavelengths of red light can restore mitochondrial function in your cone cells. The specific wavelength is 670 nanometers. This particular frequency penetrates through your cornea and lens, reaches the retina, and directly affects the mitochondria. Studies show that just 3 minutes of exposure to this red light, once per week, can significantly improve mitochondrial efficiency. The effects last for an entire week. 3 minutes once a week. That's it. Here's what you need to know about doing this safely. There are many red light devices on the market. Not all are properly regulated. First, always keep your eyes closed during red light therapy. Even though red light can penetrate through your closed eyelids easily, closing your eyes provides extra protection. Second, look for devices with specific safety certifications. There's a certification called IEC 62471 exempt or RG1 low risk. I'll put specific product links in the description, including very simple, inexpensive red light bulbs that happen to be at the correct wavelength. This technology is called photobiomodulation. If your vision problems are related to mitochondrial decline, red light therapy could be transformative. Second, support overall mitochondrial health through lifestyle. Regular exercise is one of the most powerful ways to increase mitochondria. When you exercise, especially aerobic exercise like walking or swimming, you create demand for more energy. Your body responds by creating new mitochondria. Intermittent fasting also powerfully supports mitochondrial health. When you're not constantly eating, your body shifts from using glucose to using ketones. This metabolic switch is incredibly beneficial for mitochondria. Diabetes destroys mitochondria. The opposite of diabetes, a state of low blood sugar and ketone-based metabolism, protects mitochondria. So a low-carbohydrate ketogenic diet combined with intermittent fasting is one of the most powerful interventions for eye health. And adequate sleep is crucial. During deep sleep, your body performs cellular repair, including in your mitochondria. Third, address the accommodation problem from screen time. Most of us spend hours staring at screens at a fixed distance. This keeps your eye muscles in constant contraction. The solution is simple. You need to spend time looking at distant objects. Ideally, at least 2 hours per day outdoors with your eyes focusing on things far away. Look at a tree in the distance. Find a specific branch and focus on it. Watch a bird flying. Look at clouds. You're exercising your eye muscles through their full range of motion. There's a specific rule for people who work at computers. It's called the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. Set a timer. Every 20 minutes, look out a window or across the room at something at least 20 feet away. Focus on it for 20 seconds. And while you're doing this, blink deliberately every 5 seconds. When you're staring at a screen, you don't blink as often or completely. This leads to dry eyes and eye strain. Deliberate blinking helps restore moisture. Fourth, address genetic issues with vitamin A absorption. Some people have difficulty converting beta-carotene from plants into active vitamin A. Vitamin A is essential for eye health. One classic symptom of deficiency is night blindness. The best sources of preformed active vitamin A are egg yolks, liver, cod liver oil, and butter. Even if you're eating these foods, you might not absorb vitamin A if you have digestive issues. Fatty liver, gallbladder problems, or intestinal inflammation can prevent absorption of fat-soluble vitamins. Fifth, increase lutein and zeaxanthin. These phytonutrients are concentrated in your retina, particularly in the macula. They protect your eyes from oxidative damage and filter harmful blue light. They're found in kale, Swiss chard, and pistachios. But the most bioavailable source is egg yolks. Even though kale might have more total lutein, you actually absorb more from eggs. Sixth, if you have floaters, use fasting to trigger autophagy. Floaters are damaged proteins floating in your eyeball. The way to clear these is through autophagy, your body's cellular recycling process. Extended fasting triggers autophagy powerfully. Start with regular intermittent fasting. Then occasionally do longer fasts. Maybe a 48-hour fast once a month. During extended fasting, your body breaks down and recycles damaged proteins, including those creating floaters. Seventh, for glaucoma, there's fascinating research on high-dose vitamin D3. There's a doctor named Harold Shell who wrote a book about using very high doses of vitamin D3 to reverse glaucoma. He gets blood levels up to around 100 nanograms per milliliter, which is higher than standard recommendations. But he does this carefully, with cofactors like vitamin K2 and magnesium. The results are remarkable. I'll put a link to his book in the description. There's also research showing that niacin, vitamin B3, can help with glaucoma by improving blood flow to the optic nerve. Eighth, for cataracts, the most effective natural remedy is NAC drops. NAC stands for N-acetylcarnosine. This is different from the NAC supplement N-acetylcysteine. N-acetylcarnosine comes in eye drops. You apply it to the outside of your eye, and it penetrates to the lens. There it breaks down and dissolves the glycated proteins that create cloudiness. Research in both animals and humans shows this can be remarkably effective at reversing cataracts. I can't guarantee it will work for everyone, but it's worth trying. Prevention of cataracts involves maintaining low blood sugar and consuming carnosine, which is found abundantly in red meat. Ninth, for age-related macular degeneration, saffron has shown remarkable promise. Research indicates that saffron supplementation can improve vision in people with macular degeneration. 10th, get proper lighting. If you're over 50 and struggling to see, sometimes the simplest solution is better lighting. Get a high-quality reading light. Look for a high CCT warm light LED between 3000 and 4000 Kelvin. Position this light to illuminate the surface you're looking at. Proper lighting can make an immediate difference. 11th, use the sunlight hack. Watch the sunrise or sunset, not by looking directly at the sun, but by looking around the sun and allowing some rays into your eyes. This resets your circadian rhythm powerfully. It also stimulates production of intracellular melatonin, a powerful antioxidant that protects your eyes and helps you sleep better. 12th, implement the desk reset with the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, look 20 feet away for 20 seconds. Blink deliberately every 5 seconds. This prevents eye strain and exercises your focusing muscles. 13th, address dry eye issues. Dry eyes result from several factors. Being in front of screens and not blinking enough is one. Vitamin A deficiency is another. But vitamin B1 deficiency affects your autonomic nervous system, which controls the smooth muscles that operate your tear ducts. If you're deficient in B1, you won't produce enough tears. Sources of B1 deficiency include eating refined carbohydrates, diabetes, and consuming large amounts of coffee or tea. Consider supplementing with benfotiamine. And finally, reduce advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These are formed when sugar molecules bind to proteins. This happens when you consume processed foods and maintain high blood sugar. In your eyes, glycation affects the lens, making it rigid and cloudy. The solution is maintaining low blood sugar through a low-carb diet and intermittent fasting. Alpha-lipoic acid can help reduce ages, and vitamin D is one of the most powerful anti-inflammatory compounds. Always take magnesium with your vitamin D. Let me summarize. Your vision decline after 60 is primarily driven by mitochondrial loss in cone cells. This is potentially reversible. Red light therapy at 670 nanometers, 3 minutes once per week, can restore mitochondrial function. Support mitochondrial health through exercise, intermittent fasting, a ketogenic diet, and adequate sleep. Spend time outdoors focusing on distant objects. Use the 20-20-20 rule. Ensure adequate vitamin A from animal sources. Increase lutein and zeaxanthin from egg yolks. Use extended fasting to trigger autophagy and clear floaters. For glaucoma, consider high-dose vitamin D3 with K2 and magnesium and add niacin. For cataracts, use NAC eye drops and maintain low blood sugar. For macular degeneration, try saffron supplementation. Use proper lighting. Watch sunrises or sunsets to reset circadian rhythm. Address dry eye with vitamin A and B1. And reduce advanced glycation end products through diet and supplements. This isn't about accepting declining vision as inevitable. This is about understanding root causes and addressing them systematically. Many people over 60 can experience significant improvement by following these strategies consistently. Vision restoration takes time, but the potential rewards are absolutely worth the effort. Thank you for watching. If you found this valuable, please share it with others. Here's to your clear vision and vibrant health in the years ahead.